Hello, everybody. I would not expect many people today because it's very sunny weather and, of course, the holiday season starts. Yeah, I'm playing around right on time, 8 o'clock. Yes, I was just playing this nice sound from Predator 2. So it uses the oscillator 1 and 2 on a wave set. Here is the user waves. You see here is the wave which is used, which is moving from one wave to another. It's you can select here big screen. Then you only have the view of the three oscillators, and then you can edit very extensively the waveforms. So it's a Predator 2 is definitely a hybrid synthesizer, which allows you to have custom waveforms. And if you go back here, you see the XY is used to modulate the morph parameter. So it starts with one waveform and goes over into another one, which is more a vocal one. Very nice sound. I found this one, Hip Waves 2, inside my personal bank. So I wonder if this one is already inside the original factory patches. Maybe I can do this by Hip Waves 2. Okay, let me see if I go to find preset hip. Let's see if something pops up. Okay, Hips Waves. Yeah, it's only in my own bank or Hips Waves. So here it is. Definitely one of the newer sounds. Is my voice okay, by the way? Is it not too loud? So I have 3 of them. Most likely I uploaded these in one of the live stream, and this is going to be one of the presets will be appearing in Predator 2 some days once we do an update. So I'm checking the chat room. Everybody healthy, I see. Yeah, that's great. We have very sunny weather in Netherlands and I think also other parts of Europe. It's I have a basement studio, so here in the studio it's always pretty okay, cool. Only you need to have a dehumanizer machine because the warm air comes in and then it forms condense, and that's not good for your machines. So you need to have the humidity machine that removes the humidity from the air. So the balance is good. That's great. So I just started out. I have a subject going to tweak. So about Go2. And I see Sangina is also in the chat room. Hopefully I pronounce it better. And we have some good news. The sounds that we Sangina produced is available, and what we did is also making it NKS compatible. So if you have machine or complete control, you can download it, included the preview. So then you need to drop this very nice sound bank. Let's open Go2. Let's see. Give me a second, guys. You see here is some things are running, and here I can of course add track instrument, and I pick Go2. You see we have a Go2 converter for NKS. Have it, and in the manager there is the 20 Sangina project. Most likely I butchered it again, but whatever. Very nice presets. I played of them last week. What I did is tag them, so I gave them all a right tagging. And if you would re-download, you will see that the tagging is correct. We also created for you guys the refill for Reason. So also for Reason, this preset bank with awesome, great presets is available, 88 presets. So if you, what we do is we add them to the early bird presets. So let me show you where these are. So if you go to the papen.com homepage, okay, I'll let you show. Here we have the Papen homepage. Let's make it a bit bigger. And then we have a section which is called the early bird presets. Because it's the case that we not always update the products right away if we have new presets. And it makes that sometimes it takes a bit longer before we add it to the factory patches. So here we have the early bird presets, and here you see is Go2 88 presets by Sanguinea project. And you see here you can download the our own bank folder system, so the presets we use. So it says unzip and copy the folder into this into the location of Go2 into the bank folder, and also the NKS presets. You need to go unzip and place this folder in the NKS presets folder, and you can download the refill for Go2. And you see that there is also some raw kick presets, 70 by Vitaly. He expanded his bank. And here, 23 presets by GX3D, which is also very nice. So this is the early bird presets. And in the end, they will end up in the factory, basic factory patches. But this way you can enjoy them earlier. So I think that's a good thing. And we did mention it today in the newsletter about Go2. And of course, I also mentioned that Go2 is a is Go2, that's a good question, is a little brother of BIT. No, it's Go2 is definitely a different synthesizer. BIT really focus on the virtual analog machine things, and Go2 is more comparable to Predator 2 on some part because of the hybrid waveforms, but it's definitely a, let me see if I open it for you. Here we have Go2. It's a synthesizer which is what I write in the newsletter is, for instance, as an example, you have the Roland Jupiter 8, which was in the 80s the biggest machine Roland produced at that time. But next to that, they also had their 8SH101, which was a one oscillator synthesizer, but still you could do some very cool products and cool sounds with it. So very cool product, which was totally different, more easy to use, maybe also simpler, but simple is not a good word for it. It is different because you do different things if the synthesizer offers you different features. So Go2 is essentially, if you compare this with Predator, which when I open Predator, so then you get my, okay, so that, let me show you the Predator is 3 oscillators, filtered, second filter. You have 3 FX, which you can add it. You can have multiple pages. You have an R page, you have an XY page, you have a user waves where you can have a big screen where you can draw your own waves or analyze a sample. You have a modulation system with envelopes, LFOs, a modulation matrix with basic mode, advanced chord, even an EQ is inside Predator 2. So Predator 2, although it's, to my opinion, not a overcomplicated synthesizer, it offers a lot. And yeah, of course, it while editing, you need a bit more skills. And the advantage of Go2 is essentially everything is in front. It doesn't offer the features that Predator 2 has, but that's not always needed for certain sounds. And to make it not too basic, we added the idea to have the XY pad here, and that you can morph between 2 waveforms. So at its own, it's still a very sophisticated synthesizer with some very unique sounds. And one of the unique things we added is that in each step you can have a different chord. So that makes the arpeggiator much different from any other arpeggiator from our product line. So when I play here this preset, so this was again Blue Predator 2. So each synthesizer in our catalog has its own focus. It's and of course, in terms of creativity, there's a lot of things I like to do. So each thing has its own. It's not one synthesizer which does everything. There's no synthesizer on this planet that does everything. So, and also the user interface does bring you to a different workflow. And this different workflow makes that you make different presets. So here, see this in this Sanguinia bank, you can see that he uses the sequencer in a very creative way. So here, each step has a different chord. And you see he goes through the waves a bit. So this is particular bank here. If you still, you can do some very deep things, which, for instance, also pop up with the many of the Jamal sounds. Let me see, one of his. Oh, this one is a bit loud. I'm not sure why that is. So let me see if I can find something. And here, what is cool, you have the play mode with unison. Unison is here on -7. And if you have on step 1 chord set to set, it means that it uses this -7, which is up here. But you still can use something else, which is a minor A9 on step 7. So for housey stuff, this is very interesting. Okay, the modulation wheel is not active. I can make it active here. Or you could say, use the modulation wheel. I still have something free here. Modulation wheel, and I also use the modulation wheel to control the high pass filter. Okay, I need to open it. So even if you have a preset, by simple doing little things, you can make some very cool, interesting things. So also what I could do, so I'm just editing here. I go to the second ranger slot. I use then again the modulation wheel to control, for instance, the delay mix, which is possible. Delay mix. Here it is. So you see, then you have some very dynamic sounds. These are little things inside Go2 which you will not find in our other plugins. And I'm not sure if this is a feature in other synthesizers on the market, but Mr. Papen is jamming. Yes, indeed, I'm jamming. So it's a different concept. And sometimes you go to Go2, sometimes you take Predator 2 because it has so many presets. But the cool thing, and that's also with, for instance, the quad, it forces you to use it in a particular way, and it makes you creative. Okay, so I'm checking the chat room. Yeah, the sound is very clear. Yeah, definitely. I'll Go2 and also the other products, we really focus on high audio quality. It has a rich sound, as I would say. you can easily use it next to hardware easily. It's in the first era of virtual synthesizers, they were sometimes a bit muddy. That has a reason, but now they're really, because of the CPU power of the computers, you can do a lot more and really focus also on audio quality. On the other hand, it's also the case that John Iris does some amazing coding because, our product line is really known for being very CPU friendly, and and we don't compromise on audio quality. So that's a very good job from John Iris. So yeah, crazy Go2. Let's go crazy with Go2. So I started, of course, and of course that's sometimes it happens with musicians. I did derail myself because this was such a nice sound, this hip waves. Lovely. Especially people who know PPG. Will value this sound. Okay, so I wanted to do something from scratch with Go2. So what I did, you see here, I have a little bit of a beat, and it's Predator 2. And a bass and a bit of drums. Synths do you use for space music? Well, essentially, all synths can be used for space music. It's a good question. Maybe I showed a bit later on. I think Blade 2 is cool. I think Prisma has some great patches. Sometimes you need to tweak a sound a bit to make it spacey. Okay. Oh, the voices again here? Okay. Most likely because I did mute, I played this up preset, and once I do solo, my microphone is muted. So very simple sinus arpeggiator sound. So that makes that it mutes. So now I have this one now open, and I simply played something very simple. So I open Go2 now. So this is Go2, and this is just for me today a challenge. This is a default preset. So just play the chord, and now let's see what we can do. Simply making it, using the XY to maybe change the waveform, change the volume, so to make it really a wobbly kind of thing. So let me see if that works. So okay, let's see. Maybe I should record here something. I just do a movement, play. With edit, I can make it visual. I can edit it here. Well, it's not addressed to anything, so I need to address it now. I see it's synced to one bar. Poly mode. Funny, isn't it? It's already more interesting. So filter frequency on the X. The X is, this is the 0 in the middle. On the right side of it, there are changes. And you see here, and because it's tempo based, you already hear the sound change. Oh, somebody everybody has a very hard, yeah, it's I had my first studio, guys, was in the base, in the attic, in the top of floor. And then I had to start at 7 o'clock, and 4 o'clock I had to run away from it because it was too hot. And then, of course, the echo would help. But yeah, lucky me, I'm having a basement studio. Okay, somebody's asking which bass drum I'm using from Rawkick. It's a synthesis bass drum, Rawkick. Let's open it here. Here's the amazing Rawkick. It's layer 1, layer 2. I think that one is a combination of synthesis together with a sample. It's from the EDM Bank 01, EDM Kick 20. That's the one. Somebody did ask which kick it was. And it's indeed a very nice one. So now I have this one. I also could put on the high pass filter and use the XY movement. Not doing that much. Okay. The other thing you can do is change the mode. In free mode, the XY, you see, it keeps on running, but you need to start at the first beat so that it times well. Then it's different again. Then it's only total sound that moves. So with poly, depending on how you play the notes, each note starts its own movement. And that can be very different. In free mode, it keeps on running, but it resets on 0 the moment you press play. So if you see down here my sequencer, it's bar 7 where it starts, and when I select that one, you see it in the, it starts on the, so this is more average. So this could be an interesting thing. We could make the sound a bit more stereo using unison 3. Now it lost the speed, you hear that? It went out, so it need to start again. And you suddenly have a kind of groove already. I'll put a bit of a delay on it. Here's the delay. Timing you could change. So if I put on the other sequences to a bit more sound, you see, suddenly you have already a kind of groove. Very simple. Simply draw movement, open the filter, make the filter a bit close. So I started out with this one, the original. So you see, very fast. Now I also could use the X and the Y morph, but then of course I need to hear a different waveform. Let's see how that sounds. So I also could use that. So let's see in the Y movement. So now the Y movement, it's an up down. So now it's again having a different feel to it. Suddenly this digital waveform appears. No, that one is not. Yeah. Then still you could do some crazy stuff. Saw down. sync. 1/8. And now I use the free LFO also to do some stuff on the filter, for instance, filter frequency. Cool, isn't it? Simply by adding the LFO, which is tempo based, this one on 1/8 note. And now we have here the modulation wheel. Or we can put the modulation wheel on the modulation 1 amount. So what I need to do then is use the modulation wheel to open the free LFO. But it doesn't do what I want to do. Okay, so yeah, sure, I will save this one and you can download it. So simply starting from a default preset, I simply went to a very cool preset without doing too much, simply by using the XY. I need to check because normally the modulation wheel mod 1 amount. Okay, so did I run into a bug? Slot 1 is filter frequency and modulation 1 amount. It should control the amount. Oh, that's the wrong instrument. Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I had not the right MIDI channel. Now it works. So now when I open the modulation wheel, it's added. Nice sound, isn't it? Yeah, very cool. Okay, let's save this one before we have lost it. You never know. Save preset in folder. Do I have my personal folder? Let me see. Bank folder. ARP. Let me see if there is a Rob Live. This is what I play live. So let's play it. Throw it in there. That's maybe the safest thing. Okay. How do I call it? June Pat Mod Wheel. So that's the name. June Pat Mod Wheel. So yeah, you see, when you play it solo, it's maybe a bit I need to start on the first beat. Yeah, okay. I saved this one. So what you could do, this is then I shall rename preset. This is version 1 because I liked it also without the modulation on the Y, on the morphing. So that's only double click makes it go center, because that's also what I liked. 1 second. Yeah, the other one's still better. So click the original one. So I keep it as it is. Good. Yeah, pitch wheel is always funny. You can add things to it. It's so somebody is asking. I'm chatting here, looking in the chat room. I see many people join. We had the newsletter, and of course, I talked about you guys, and it was Hadley from England who said, "How do we do this ratcheting?" And so that went all to a new idea what we are doing inside the Blade 2. And so sure, the live streams are fun for me. Also from that part is that, yeah, we regular run into new ideas. So give me 1 second for the chat room. I see Mr. G Mix Arts loves the RP verbs. Yeah, that's cool. Great to hear. Yeah, they are cool. Nice gator effects. What's the bass preset using in Predator? I'm not sure if it's Predator. Let me see. This is the bass used. You see the screen is still small because this is Desert Bass 08. From all bases, this is 120, all bases 03, Desert 08. It's a very steady bass. Yeah, the newsletter has a kick, the raw kick. It was, yeah, good point about the newsletter. It has an error. The raw kick sound set, which I also mentioned in the newsletter before this one, that link disappeared, but it will pop up early July. A very nice raw kick sound set. So this is what it's using as background. You see this this bass drum. I should say bass, of course. Then there is a nice arpeggiator. That's punch 2. Punch 2 with a hi-hat. Oh, here it is. And it's a synthesized hi-hat. Can make it longer. Yeah, the presets from Predator 2 are great. Yeah, in general, all our synthesizers are great in the low end. I'm not gonna reveal why that is, but they are great. So solo bass preset. The bass is after the kick. Yeah, it's duk dak. It does. Yeah, it's yeah, some Blade 2. Yeah, the current state of Blade 2, guys, is that we are starting this week with the user interface. So that's good news. We made all the features, the new layout, where things are. It's going to be a bit different. The XY is going to be bigger. The arpeggiator screen you saw last week already. So if you want to check it out, it's also in the newsletter I mentioned, and with a time setting. So if you click in the newsletter to this YouTube link, it goes straight away to the point where I show the mock-up of Blade 2, with the double sequencer up, with the ratcheting mode, and the yeah, Rob, that's a cool thing. Yeah, that's a feature what we have. Somebody does mention, and that appears quite regular enough for thing is that somebody did made an instrument too big. So here this is Punch 2 in 150% size. This is the way you can make it smaller. You simply go up here in the preset menu, scroll down, and then set to 100%, 150%, or 200%. So here you can set it back, but before it's active, you need to reload your song because it's not changing right away. You need to reload your song, and then the next time it's again in this normal size, the other size you like to use. So It's all in the preset menu. In the Blade 2, we will have in the upper right corner a new function, which you also see 3 lines for menu things. So we put it there also for checking updates and that kind of thing. So we're working on that. Okay, so that's the way you can go back to a different screen simply in the preset menu. Because sometimes people had a big screen and could not get back. They took the back panel away. You also can set it down here, but they could not see it anymore. So this is the back panel from Punch 2. By the way, I need to catch up. I hopefully for my holiday I can catch up with the video about the multi-outputs and how the affix work inside Punch 2. It's you have quite some options, and it's very good if I would make a video about it, because if you watch then a video which is only a few minutes, you will understand right away how the whole concept is. It's always easy. Okay, let's go back to the chat room. Yes, I regularly get some people ask for getting back the old albino, but I think it's the problem is the whole coder is gone and we cannot acquire the code. The other problem is, of course, if you want to make it up to date with all the features we have in our today's synthesizers, like the bank manager, different user sizes, and sound-wise, it's getting a bit behind. I think the reverb inside our current products is much better than the reverb which was in the older albino, which is of course logic because we are now a bit more years further in the future and much more is possible quality-wise now because of the CPU power. So yeah, sure, it's still a classic one, but yeah, there's no way we can bring it back to life. And apart from that, it's so much work to get it up to date. And to be serious, if you go to some of the other sounds, I mean, that's the strange thing with people. People then, once we released albino at that time, everybody, because there you had the option to mix between two waveforms, but you could not modulate it. So here, for instance, in Predator 2, we have this morphing feature, which you can use. You see in this preset is also used. It morphs between one wave to another. So people ask at that time to me, well, why can't we modulate this? And we would like to have this. And I said, yeah, well, it's not possible at that time. And now we have it in Predator 2, and nobody does mention it anymore. So it's a bit strange how people respond. Now it has all these features. And of course, my way of programming these sounds, yeah, you will have. It's, I mean, ambient banks are inside our products, also here in Predator 2. So sound-wise, I think it's our current product line is on a high level, but I understand people use it a lot in the past and they enjoyed it. But it's gone. I cannot help it. It's gone, and we focus on other products now. Yeah, somebody mentioned for Punch 2, DMX sounds, Lint sounds. Yeah, these are the 8-bit samples, and they had, if I'm not wrong, a analog VCA, which makes that they still had a lot of punch. I worked for many times in the years, in the 80s with the Lint drum, and still it sounds great. And what I loved is the sidekick, and Prince tuned the side stick very low, which gave this particular sound. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I'm checking the chat room. Yeah, this is a very nice. I'm checking here. Well, because there was one thing I wanted to show you, but this is the ambient bank. Well, I had one sound which I use live, which is such a nice sound for sequencing. Nice choir, but it's synthesis. It's not a sample, but that's not the sound I was looking for. Okay, guys, where is it? No. Sorry, guys, I need to see where it is. I cannot find it. Oh, by the way, here's a genre FX, which I also did make during one of the live shows. Nice, isn't it? I was looking for one particular sound, but it's... No. Yeah, very hard to recall the names. That's always a problem. Yeah, somebody asked about the... that's a good point. About the favorites. If you have the bank manager, you can give something a favorite, you know. But if you want to have a new system or you have two systems, you want to maybe share the settings you have. And that's pretty easy. If you go to Predator 2, we have a YouTube video called Banks and Presets, how to work with that. And there we mentioned that if you go here, 1 second. If you go to My Documents on a PC or Applications, Mac, for instance, if you go then to Predator 2, here we have Predator 2. Okay. Oh boy, I'm messing up. Sorry, guys. For some reason, it blows up the size automatically. Okay. Then you have the bank folder, and if you see in the bank folder, if you go down, you see a text file. Star, here it is, star.txt. And if you copy this or back up this file and copy it over to your new system or another system, you have all the stars again, also on that system. So you don't lose it if you have a new install, but of course back this up, star.txt. And that's also the news we're going to add is also star system to Prisma, and Prisma will have very soon a big screen version. We're working on that also. So we're working on Blade 2, but also on Prisma having big screen options. Okay, so I'm tracking down again. Oh, about the autumn update with BIT, I'm not sure when that will be. Somebody's asking about the update for BIT in terms of the sequencer, that it would be having ratcheting, and also, so I'm loading it now, BIT. Yes, and you see it's pretty big. So here we need to change it and add this ratcheting to move up these things a little bit. And also the question was if to have the modulation matrix, we could have then, instead of 8 slots, 16 slots. So that's in progress. And we started this live stream about talking about, what makes Predator 2 different from Go2 and Go2 again with BIT. BIT really focus on the classic analog synthesizers, and not by rebuilding one, but simply having it with all kind of extra things which you can do with software. So you have 2 filters, or you have all kind of velocity, for instance. I mean, the original Jupiter 8 or original Minimoog don't have velocity. This is a bit more modern, and of course it has the built-in FX. And for instance, also the vowel filter. And you would say, oh, vowel filter, is that also already done in the analog machines? Yeah, if you take this row note, a string, it has also choir sounds, which is using a vowel filter. And then it will be more like this. So let me play you an analog type of choir. And you see the vowel filter is very powerful, but of course, yeah, you can do more variation. So let me see, but maybe these strings. So this is that kind of stuff. So BIT really does focus on the classic synthesizer with its own style, still its own style. So if you go to, excuse me, stabby sound, so these are more the stabby, short, dry sounds, which is great with the synth. Yeah, and of course the lead sounds are very nice. Go to lead sounds, this Moogie style aftertouch, saw me. Let me play it. And of course, the sound is also created by using BIT. It's the FX, the high quality reverb, which really is top notch. And for this type of reverb on a hardware synthesizer, you would need a expensive lexicon. But now it's inside your plugin. So I mean, it's if somebody would take me into the future, so back into the future, from Back to the Future when I was 15, and place me, let's say, 30 years in the future. No, in the meantime, it's already 40 years in the future. I would be in shock to have this coming out of a computer. When I was 15, I was happy with my Korg MS-20, which has its own sound, but doesn't sound like a Moog, of course. And now with a virtual analog machine, you can make sounds which are, yeah, I only could dreamt of. So what a blessing. Okay, let me see the. Yeah, Predator sounds close to BIT. It's but it does a bit different things. BIT still focus on the virtual analog, the analog sound, and with Predator 2, you also, because of the different waveforms, you can also do more hybrid sounds, which is, for instance, a PPG. PPG had also a wavetable. Yeah, absolutely. Brass tuba bass. Yeah, big brass sounds like the CS80. When I create the CS80, I always use the 12 dB filter because the original CS80 had a 12 dB filter, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, the zero latency filters in BIT, they are very aggressive, especially if you go high with resonance. Modular sequences. Rob, will you do a plugin for modular sequences? Yeah, well, it's of course what I did 2 weeks ago, I think, with Subbase 2 with this ratcheting. Essentially, if you go to BIT, let's make a sequence with BIT, classic. Okay, I put on this arpeggiator. Now let me show you a little trick. I can do key entry, then I can play. I take C as a root. Just play C minor notes. Okay, now it's C, it has here the tuning. I put off key entry. And now I have essentially, and especially if I go here in the sequencer mode, you have a classic analog style sequencer. Okay, it doesn't start on the right part. In the old days, sequencers were also pretty limited, but that made also the style of this music. And you see with the sequencer mode, you can do 2 octaves, then it plays the second time octave higher. And to give it a bit more aliveness, you could use the LFO. Of course, then the live in free mode. Filter behind it. Notch filter. A notch filter is very nice for behind the other one. So let's take 12 dB. Drifting now. And of course, with the because it's not an arpeggiator, it could be a bit boring if it takes so long. Therefore, if you do it a bit more minimal, it doesn't annoy, and otherwise you better can play a melody. But so I would minimalize this one to blend it in, just like this Predator 2 one, which I play now. It's simple, but it has a basic thing. It doesn't annoy. It's really a carrying thing. So yeah, I mean, it's an arpeggiator, and it's still, you can use it as a sequencer. I can still say, so if I go here to right mouse, new reset, up, then everything is clear. I could also use it as a sequencer. Okay, let's, where is it? Then of course you have some more freedom if you play the sequencer. Now I play the ARP mode, 2 octaves, and simply a normal ARP. it's an arpeggiator which also has a sequence mode. So with Predator 2, you have the option to have two sequences, and you can make have them separate by simply, if I'm not wrong, let's see where it is. If I go here to Predator 2, okay, this is the small screen. I need to reboot. This is the big screen here. ARP, you have ARP A and ARP B, and you can play them after each other. So you would have then essentially 32 steps. Then you have a bit more variation if you have a sequence mode. With the new Blade 2, we make it the case, okay, and I did show that already last week. Let's see if I can show it again for you. I need to go to pictures. Let me see, give me 1 second. Blade 2. Okay. Here is the image. I showed it last week, but see, this is the Mogov of Blade 2, and there you see that it has ARP A and ARP B. You can control the X and Y position by using the arpeggiator or the sequencer. But you see also here in the play mode, you have the option to make a split point. So the lower part will play ARP A, upper part ARP B. Or you can say, if you hit note B5 or C6, that these two notes are selecting which ARP is playing. So it's a bit like we do in Subboom Bass 2, where you have 4 sequences essentially. And you see here with a ratcheting mode, you can put on a ratcheting on a step. And down here you have the ratcheting mode in different types. So I thought about it, how to make this interesting. So it's ratcheting off, on, then it plays each time. If a step has ratcheting, it plays it. But it also can be that it plays first time of the arpeggiator without ratcheting, and the second time with ratcheting, and that in cycle mode. Or the first time with ratcheting and the second time without it. And then we have the option 2 off, 1 on, 3 off, 1 on, or 1 on, 2 off, and even that it responds to velocity. So if you play soft and you play harder, that you can use that. So it's going to be a very sophisticated sequencer. And yeah, thanks to this idea and the email from somebody who said, Rob, can you explain ratcheting and how you can do it with your products? Well, it's possible with Subboom Bass 2 in a different way. Sound-wise, it's the same. So, but you see, that triggers also some cool new ideas, which makes the live stream very, very cool. Okay, so many functions. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. I'm checking here. Yeah, the comp filters. X in the chat room says the comp filter is for really some interesting, unique sound transit. Yeah, it has a wild thing which you can do with the comp filters. Definitely agree to that. Okay. Nice. So guys, yeah, we are already over an hour, I see. So it's a bit different. So I started out with this preset from Go2 from scratch. It ended up in this here, you see. I make it downloadable, so the tune pad modulation wheel on. Maybe it's still a challenge if I have in. Okay, so here it's back to the original sound. If I can make another one within 1 minute, let's try that. Okay, 1 minute, same thing. Okay, so let's do it. White noise, pink noise. 1 minute. Okay, I need to be fast. Wrong one. Bandpass. Where is it? Whooshy sound. Okay, the LFO was a nice trick, so let's go to the LFO again. 3 LFO sync. Okay. Speed record. So waveform, saw down. Almost started the beat. No, poly was better, so the free mode is not a good one. Okay, modulation wheel, I make it that one makes the modulation less. Phaser. Okay, I think this is nice. Phaser is a bit over the top. It's too because I use the bandpass filter already. So let's keep it this way. Let's see if it's something. And what you can do, I make this one also downloadable. Just simply take another waveform. This one is nicer. Simply by taking a different waveform. Yeah, this is better. So I saved this one also. Save preset as. It is also June. Another fun. Okay. So these 2 presets you can make, I will make downloadable as a zip file. Copy them over to the documents, Go2 bank folder, or applications, Papen, Go2 bank folder. Okay, so let's see the chat room. Okay, so if you want to play with that one, I encourage you to change the waveform here, play around with it, click on the edit, change the modulation. You can have less points if you like that easy for editing. That's all options there are. So they will pop up. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope to see you next week. Thanks for watching. In case you have an idea, send an email to info@ropapen.com for the next live stream, what we maybe could do. Today I picked Go2, and take care and enjoy making music.